Anglifier here. Wait, one moment, sorry. Welcome to another Duels and Arcos match. We are now all the way to the grand finals. And as a result, there are only two teams remaining. Which two are those? As on the Hunter side, we have Snuffaluffagus representing Team Cagliari Common Special, and on the other end we have Gio of the Garlic Farmers. Now, for anyone who has followed our community for any reasonable amount of time, will likely know by now that the Garlic Farmers were the ones who won the Immortal Invitational tournament last year. So they have a reputation to defend. Snuff and his partner, Andrzot, are hoping to overthrow them and put a new team name into the Hall of Champions. Will they succeed? We can only watch and see. Okay. Traditional Scotsword set up by Snuff for hunters. Garlic Wreath and Good Luck for Mina's first draw. Those are pretty good smokescreen items, so that's definitely one good thing about that draw. So, as we begin in the week one, the week one supply train, there's really nothing much to talk about, but Snuff has gotten a high, like the history of these players. Gio joined approximately like a year and a half ago, I would say. He was present in the New Blood tournament that happened then, just before the Immortal Invitational tournament, and Snuff joined at approximately the same time. So in terms of time and experience playing this, I think that they are very evenly matched. Oh, local rumors in Madrid. That's very nice. And then, but Gio, last year, as I already mentioned, was part of Team Garlic Farmers that won last year alongside Scotsword. And those of you who are not familiar with that past, you would think, oh, Scotsword was world champion, so he carried Gio. But strangely enough, it ended up being the other way around somewhat. Gio has proven to be a very good Dracula player, which, well, has led to good results, as the Garlic Farmers ended up being the second place finishers in terms of the league phase of this tournament, while Cagliari Carbonara Special had got fourth. Barely managing to get into the top four, with only IDS to separate them from actually me. Oh, interesting. No misdirect. Is that simply Gio forgetting, clicking the wrong, or does he have some sort of lair stratagem in mind? That is interesting. Oh, Okay. Hmm. Uh, yeah. Hmm. Yeah, so apart from those two proxy events, nothing really worth commenting on since then. Cause, but then again, it's always this way in the first week, unless you get like a. I mean, even when you do get like a lucky scout reveal on day one, uh, you you still have to make your preparations and such. So it's practically always going to be this way. So so yeah. Oh, whoa, double card creates this card, which means is now showing a knife on that note. Oops. Which, what other things? Rifle, crucifix, and dogs. Hmm. None of that is all too surprising, but okay. I have heard Snuff has told me that like if he considers Seward reasonably well equipped, and like you already like have it, especially since not only did he draw a little rumors down there, he drew an evil presence. He knows that Dracula is not at least currently down there, so he. This is Snuff's playstyle coming out here. Like if Seward is reasonably equipped uh and you well do this or that, it, he he is he's apparently gone into the habit of doing this. Okay, so does Snuff have a newspaper? And if so, does he use it on And so, does he use it on this first thing, or does he try to wait for the first encounter instead? That is something that has been at least debated, and at times, I've done on one or the other. So, I will see what happens, okay? Hmm. No newspaper. Oh dear. This is... The way the trail looks is looking like a hoax or bodyguards or something along those lines into vampire. Quite likely with a hide card with a saboteur or bats or whatever. And then one after that. At least that's what I would assume it is. Whoa, discarding the host. That was obviously thought about long and hard. While the hunters have their items, I think that it may be time to have Van Helsing start trading events around for hand space reasons. Okay, she's revealing a charred carriage now. Yeah, she had to discard the good luck. Yeah, so this is definitely interesting. So, yeah, until the trail is revealed, there really isn't anything we can do but speculate as to what's going on, as to what exactly is going on. Okay, yeah, giving me a hand space. Makes sense. Oh, dark calling. Okay, no prompts, so that rules out roadblock and storms. What will it be? The thing is, we're still at the stage of the game where even a sensationalist press would be useful. Ah, so he actually did have the newspaper, but simply saved it for when he would for when he would be able to reveal the encounter. That So, with that being the case, okay, Okay, rifle and dogs. Okay, what? A long night? Okay. Huh. Okay, okay. Hmm. Does he go to Sarajevo, Sajed, or Klasnburg? Which angle does he approach Belgrade from? Because Dracula could very it's entirely plausible that uh, he's gone to Sarajevo. I mean, admittedly, he would have had to just wait, except they dark hall and they scanned when he was here. No, that's nonsense. Unless I'm badly mistaken. Hmm. Okay. Going to Klausenberg. Interesting. I guess trying to figure out where he went after, perhaps? Well, one thing that Snuff can be at ease at due to the evil presence is that he is not going west. Because that would have been Wolfram to Zagreb and then Munich, and I'm sure that the evil presence happened somewhere in that time frame. I imagine that he's actually going to be returning to that lair right now. Because from where to start, it's possible that it's Sajed, but... But I would guess, actually, that it's Sophia. Yep. And that seems to semi-confirm it. It doesn't do so 100%, but I think it's quite plausible that he started at Sofia, went to Belgrade, and then wolf formed to Constanta, hid, then went to Varna, Dark Hall, and then went back into the Sofia. Huh? Okay. Is he simply doing that for hand size reasons? I don't know. So I'm not sure what's going on with playing a long night. It's possible that he just did that to get out of his head and have it stop bothering him at dawn. But what is he going to do? I mean, obviously there's a lot of pressure on Snuffaluffagus here, and on both sides for that matter. With this being the finals and all, Snuff wants to both sides want to make sure that they're making the most optimal move they can. So what you doing, Gloaming? This is a bit odd. I wonder if it's somehow frozen or not from us. Oh, nope. Not gonna chance any lair shenanigans. Like the lair being Sarajevo. Oh, no, he's going straight to Constanta. Oh, appears that my initial theory was incorrect. Mind you, he could have done much the same thing as I described, except with Valona and Salonika. Oh, that's pretty good. Okay, so he wolf formed to Varna, then went to Sofia. Okay, so he started at Bucharest, and that's where he is now. Which means that chances are, and that means that chances are he was planning to go to Constanta next. So it's possible that Golding has just cut him off. Oh wait, no, he's... Yeah, so we now know the trail. Belgrade, Wolfram to Varna, hide, then go to Sofia, then go back to the now laird, Bucharest. And since it wasn't revealed, you got to lay an extra encounter. The fact that Snuff used chartered carriage there and it didn't horse. And neither of these two have shown a horse, albeit Van Helsing has only just landed on the mainland, so hasn't really had much time to. A saboteur. Okay, well that's very interesting to make your first encounter. So that begs the question: what is in Varna? Okay, choosing to mature the saboteur. Along the road to Varna. Yeah, it's not often that saboteurs really come to shine, but this is one of those cases because we know that they discard one good luck. If they have the second one, then they can take down that barricade. But the question is, who would have it? I mean, he doesn't have it. And what's more, that even though it doesn't take an action to play, you have to play it on that character's turn. So Goldaming will have gone by then. Okay, so from Bucharest, he went to either Galatz or Klausenberg. I would guess to Klausenberg. Okay, stake discard. First stake discard. Yeah, so that Empire, on the assumption that it wasn't a bluff, is going to mature. I am making the assumption that it's an aristocratic one. Nope. Okay, reckless. So that's one. The one bright side for Snuff is that that is one fewer fighter vamp that he has to deal with. But only because he failed to deal with it. Yeah, I'm playing from 7 points down. Snuff and I did quite a few practice games, and he has said that he does like to gamble a bit and try to skip a thing here and there at actually this stage of the game. Well, Snuff, you could have gotten to it, but you wouldn't have been able to. You would not have been able to search it as well. So yeah. Okay. So we know that this next rumor token is on Bucharest. I would assume that that is a double vamp for him to be placing a rumor token down. Oh, Sir seems to have finally found his horse. Oh, and Van Helsing has one too. Let's see. Yeah, so we know that Bucharest is a runner token. We know that, and in turn, we know that this is either Klausenberg, or Galatz. This, it could be, well, any of these things, or even any of these 4 cities, or a hide card. If I were Drac, I would probably wolf form from so as to get down to the Iron Sea coast, because with Seward and Helsing quickly closing in. Oh, huh? How is that possible? I don't. Oh, he. Okay. Oh, it's Sarajevo. That was the first thing. I see. That explains it. Then Sofia. Then I. Okay. I wonder if Suda's going to get batted into a nighttime fight with a vampire. So it's definitely good for the Hunters that they were at Zurich and Nuremberg yesterday, because now he knows that if he is still going west, he's at either Venice or Milan, and therefore going to Moonland Helsington Marseille was a good move to cut off that spot. Yeah, as I said earlier, I anticipate this being a double vamp, but I now will see if I'm right. Okay. Mez into the punch. Not punch, sorry. Escape. Alright. Plotting into... Oh, plotting to punch. For those who might not be following, Plotting to Punch was the name of another of the teams in this tournament. Which, considering that the team was made of two of the newest members of the community, they definitely fared well for, or people at you might say, level of experience. Okay, strength and dodge. Okay, figured that he wouldn't do the plotting again. I mean, so far so good. Going well for Snuff in this one. Okay, and we now have Fangs into escape. Okay, so the typical 2 damage. Okay, double new vamp. Interesting. Let me see. No, Belgrade was wiped. I was wondering if everyone there, if Belgrade was Lair. Okay, starting out much the same way as last one did. Okay, strength into dodge. Okay. What now? Okay. Oh, I was hoping that Snuff would punch there in anticipation of that. Strength into. Ah, he punched this time. Claws into dodge. Okay. Okay. Hmm. If I were Mina, I would play the knife now because Geo, being a seasoned player, will know that Mina almost always. Oh, well done, Snuff. Yeah, because Mina, Dracula players, as a general rule, always assume that Mina has a knife. So why just so confirming it really won't do you much harm. Uh, they will all Draculas will almost always play as if Mina is one of the ones holding a knife anyway. But at least that means that one actually he actually managed to get a bit of damage to stick onto one of those vampires. Hmm, that's actually some valuable information for the hunters because now they know that he's not trying to do some weird backtrack and possibly go up through Prague. Because to remind you, in case you've forgotten, Seward was at the beginning of this day. Seward was at Zurich, and Van Helsing was at Nuremberg, and nothing had been flipped. That was when they found Munich. It so so therefore we know that Dracula is currently in one of these two locations. Vienna had been a possibility up until now, but okay, yeah, it all makes one wonder what is that Dracula event? Because if that is on the off chance that is unearthly swiftness, uh, which we have actually ruled out several. There are actually very few other things that it can be at this point. There's Darkness Returns, there's Devilish Power, but the fact that we did not see a prompt like for waiting for Drac uh, during the combat means that it's unraged. It's not a. It's not Storms or Roadblock, or we would have seen a prompt when it was first drawn. It and it also really it's really just Darkness Returns, Devilish Power, and Unearthly Swiftness at this point that I can think of. People have moved by train since he got it, so it's not false tip. There was the charred carriage, so we would have seen a prompt there. It's not wild horses. It's not. So I really can't think of anything but those three. In which case, this game could be over very quickly, because if that is so, if it is an unearthly swiftness and they do not deal with this today, then Dracula has already won. Mind you, their ability to deal with it today is definitely very limited. But if Mia has a stake in addition to the knife, I. If Mia has a stake, I could see her searching it today to try to take it out as a precaution against unearthly swiftness. But okay, scouts, alright. Right. Zurich and Venice. So he went to Milan, and now he's at Genoa. Unless he hid, that is. Okay. Feed. Okay. So it's not unearthly swiftness or darkness. I think that at this point I can comfortably say that it's devilish power. I could be wrong. There may be some that I'm just not thinking of. I suppose there is seduction, isn't there? We haven't had a searching of vampires yet. We've had ambushes, but okay, yeah, Snuff did see the danger. That was he was aware that was a hazard. Okay. So we know that he's either at Genoa or hiding at Milan. Oh, Rufus? In this instance, I would actually use it to search to figure out whether he's hiding or not. But yeah, there are definitely pros and cons to both. So yeah. So he's definitely going to search with the Goldalming. In case of the seduction. Case. Oh, double stake. Ooh. Okay, and it's not seduction. Oh, or apparently, yes, it is. Okay, well that is a very small thing. Just considering that he didn't fall into the trap with Mina searching it, that is just fine. It's still, admittedly, it bounces the vampire back to hand, but at least they defuse the rumor token. That's the important thing for the hunters. A bite token on Goldaming, who is showing a surprising return, and okay, yeah, bodyguards on Seward, or all right. So now I would say that the hunters are looking in pretty good shape. Now that they finally defused that, and they have Dracula pinpointed to a very limited area. Okay. Yeah. Yep, and Snuff 1 said guessing game. Mystic Research. Discard only one Dracula card. Ooh. Sensationalist Press. Lol. Well, onto the 10 Dracovans in this card. That is definitely very good news for Snuff. One thing that would be a bit amusing is if someone is holding on to a blood transfusion and therefore could get the bite token off of Goldaming. So you know that Dracula has a new vampire in hand. So what will Dracula do now? Well, we know that he's either hiding at Milan or is at Genoa. The fact that Goldaming doesn't have a horse is really gonna hurt in these areas with it hurt just walking up the, or I suppose not. That's actually, is this where one day later and Zagreb were already there? The fact that Goldaming doesn't have a horse means they might have ended up having to just walk up into lair after lair, which would have been highly unpleasant, to say the least. Yeah, wolf form makes sense. Threatened to be going over Van Helsing. Oh, Glung picked up Mia's horse. So Mia will be trailing behind, at least for a bit. So the first priority, I would say, is check Milan, see if he hid there, or whether he, and therefore whether it's possible that he went up as far as Nuremberg or Strasbourg. Okay, so he did not hide there, so therefore he went to Genoa and then wolf formed from there. So he could be down in Rome. He could be at Toulouse. He could be he could be anywhere adjacent to Marseille or down in the boot. Or it could just be a fake wolf form and he's in Venice. This would be a very good time for a proxy event. Sister Agatha. Ooh. Yeah, I would definitely search with her. You have the surprising return, so that you can summon her when you need her. So, I'd... Okay, checking out Rome. Definitely a good idea. Ooh. I'm not sure that I completely agree with supplying there. Especially since Rome was not on the trail. Because I at least would probably want to get to a big city so that and start making my way to like a spot like Munich, to be honest. Because now she's gonna have to just start wading through layers when she leaves. Okay, so they've gone through the whole item deck. Mob. Oh, ow. One, three. So there's one pistol and one rifle. Wait, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, one pistol and one rifle amongst the hunters. As well as there's actually, if you look, there's only 2 holy bullets in the discard. So that means that someone is holding onto holy bullets. And since Seward has the rifle, I think it stands to logic that his hand is horse, rifle, pistol, bullets. Oh, showing a money trail, huh? Interesting. Then what is the other card? If you're going to reveal money trail over this card, what is this card? Okay, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, Sir needs to recover from that mob a bit. And the thing is that the hunters do have they still have over a week until they still have a full week until Fury of Dracula points start to come in. It's about to go into week 3. Okay, so obviously you searched Toulouse. Okay, he did not hide at Toulouse though, which is probably why he didn't send Van Helsing to check there on foot. Wolves. Okay, well, that one was showing a knife, so here. Peekaboo. So I figure that Mina will get out when she does come out of the east. If she does, she'll be doing it via chartered carriage. Okay, so went to Toulouse, but where after that is the question. I could see it being Bordeaux into Nantes or Santander. I personally would do Bordeaux and then Nantes in these circumstances. Slow horse. Unfortunate. Okay, not Bordeaux. Which is interesting, to be sure. Oh, Vampire Lair. Oh, ho, ho. Now that is quite big. That buys Snuff a full extra day. And the fact that Mina was able to use it, Mina being the one that's just hanging back here, after the dealing with as much of the initial wave as she could, that's very good for the hunters. So now we have, because all three of the active hunters who are close to the trail are still right here. What do I go down and search? But so long as there aren't all that any reckless vampire ambush points, that will buy Snuff a full extra day. Evil presence. Oh ho ho! So he went Saragossa, Santander, or Clermont-Ferrand, Nantes. Excuse me. So this is very interesting. This means that. So we know that his current location is. Admittedly, he could be hiding at Clermont-Ferrand, but that would definitely be a dangerous thing to do. And also, why did he not search Toulouse? I suppose because Snuff does like to try to buy extra time by skipping over a thing here and there. But okay. Did he actually? If it's Rune of Vigortine, do they have it? Because they know that is adjacent to Van Helsing, and that can only be so many places. Only the 3 of these. Okay. It seems as if the hunters simply don't have any null effects with how quickly that passed. Okay, horse. I would check Nantes first. Okay, I'm not sure why there. That's interesting. Okay, so it was Saragossa, Santander. Oh, reckless. Okay, so apparently okay, it would seem that Snuff has some sort of combat event they considered using here. By how long that pause was. Okay. Claw and dodge. Okay, so that, starting with claws seems to say that the vampire doesn't have a very good hand. Now, a holy bullet's got discarded recently, but it's possible that was off the top. If my earlier theory about Seward having rifle, pistol, or bullets in addition to his things. Oh, yep, yeah. This is a holy bullets play. Ever I saw one, this is one of them. Okay. The downside, of course, is that Dracula did get a point out of that, but that one doesn't matter yet. Doesn't matter. In in terms of I as a result, he can no longer just dismiss this if he was wanting to. Wax cylinders. Okay, he is not hidden, so therefore he is at Lisbon. Now we still have Rufus Smith in play, keep in mind. So, if Dracula stays any longer, I think that it's just a mistake. I mind you, he could do a hide if he's sitting on a fog. I mean, by now there's a high chance that he's drawn both of his fogs. So, he could hide and lay down the second fog, making it so that they need a double forewarned to do it. Okay, so Dracula choose to move one more time on land. I mean, he does have 14 HP. So, he is quite healthy. And who knows what this is? Apart from Geo. Obviously, Geo knows what this encounter is. It appears that Snuff may have forgotten about it. Speed telegraph. Okay. There's no renewed vigor, but I mean, okay. I would have started with Mina. I would have started with Mina and supplied. See if you could get a scouts or possibly Harker. Oh, he moved on to Cadiz. Okay, is that a forewarned under the money trail? I wonder, Could that be a heroic leap? And he's planning to do that. Okay. I'm guessing that's a newspaper by the fact that it's waiting or something. Alright. It is heroic leap. Okay. Okay. Okay, well, Dracula's feed. I definitely wouldn't in his place. And the last thing I would do is Dark Call. Okay, yep, going out to sea. Okay, it was indeed a fog. Okay. You best check what Toulouse is. Okay. Alright, right. And that was the other fog. Okay, so Dracula is out of fog. However, we now have 2 hunters delayed. And trapped in fog. I mean, obviously, since they revealed in my day, the effect will wear off a bit quicker. Spy. Okay. Discarding a rifle. Okay, Dracula can, and now Rufus has been in play for a while now, but now he's going to spring into action. Dracula can only go so far. He can only move 2 more sea spaces if he wants to wolf form ashore. So he can only go as far as Tyrrhenian, or if he wants to wolf form ashore, he either has to. He can only go as far as Tyrrhenian, or go North Atlantic and then go to one of these 3. And the thing about Goldong being trapped in fog is that he can still help. He's the one holding the money trail, and he can help direct Seward along. Okay, Rufus coming into play again. Whacking him for a bit of damage. So do you use Money Trail now? Yeah, I tend to agree because there are so many possibilities after North Atlantic. I personally agree with the idea of not using it yet. Okay, so Seward needs to go to a place to resupply, because he has nothing but a stake and a horse at this point. Oh, but he does need to deal with Santander. Okay. Okay, with it being a new vampire, that's not really the worst thing. And tomorrow, Seward and Van Helsing Goldaming and Van Helsing, rather, will be free to move about again. However, will it be enough? I don't know. Because Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I suppose they have 3 days. Dracula still has to make 3 more actions before the first action that will get him Fury of Dracula points. Oh. Uh-oh. Well. Yeah. And if Gio is paying attention, he knows that Seward has no combat cards. So he's going to end up taking most likely 4 damage. Yep. Typical stuff. So now it'll be dodge into potentially another plotting. Yep. Okay. Yep. So typical vampire ambush where the vampire managed to get a plotting off. So that's I will say that the fact that Goldaming might actually want to Along might actually want to money trail by night tomorrow. The reason for this is, regardless from here, regardless which way he went, uh, Gul'dan Van Helsing's first move is to go to Bordeaux and Saragossa, respectively. So it really doesn't make that way. They make up a little bit more ground, and regardless which way he went, then you're still getting closer. Although these letters may make it a little bit awkward. And also, these layers, Geo may have to remember to clear some of these layers before he wolf forms ashore, as some of them, such as Genoa, could be rather revealing. So, will he move by sea again? Honestly, I think he may be able to afford to wolf form ashore to Milan if he's in the Med, and then go to Venice, then hop into Adriatic. Yeah, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then he lands in Valona, which is a place where he can't get CG nuked. And then he's guaranteed, and as he lands, he gets 3 points. And then, honestly, I think I would like to see a Wolf War ashore, do Milan, and do more or less what I charted out. Because, normal landing. Interesting. I mean, Seward is obviously in no shape to do anything, really, except get somewhere where he can resupply. It's obvious that Seward doesn't have a host, but all the others could. Because let's remember that in the first cycle through the deck, there was one Heavenly Host discarded. Surprising return. Aggie, go check Marseille, perhaps? Oh, it's CAG. Okay. Yeah, makes sense. The thing is, I think that's actually good for the hunters because this gives them time to supply while he does things that don't matter to them. I mean, obviously he'll get the chance to feed, but now that he can't hide, at least now that there's no point hiding, this is going to be a close game, to be sure. Admittedly, Heroic Leap is already used, so Yeah, I'm not sure. I think they should try to get Mina to a place where she can get some more items, get a third item. Okay, it was a wolves. Okay, but yeah, 2 damage is not hard to recover. Although, this is an interesting conundrum, because on the one hand, you would want Seward to step in and help Gloaming. On the other hand, he just doesn't have any items. Yeah, and point of fact, Van Helsing is actually the strongest hunter at the moment, which is a little bit ironic. Going to trade all of Van Helsing's items to Seward? I could definitely see that. Yeah, be ready to cut him off. Because the thing is, Mila could be holding an excellent weather, and if he chooses to go to sea and then go to say Naples, Bari, basically go into the bottom of the boot, Mia can hop across Adriatic that way. Yeah, feeding makes sense. So, I imagine that now Drac will be hopping into the Tyrrhenian Sea this turn. Because that means that will mean that the timing will be exactly right for him to like wolf form ashore. To wolf form ashore, and score points while he does it. However, with the deck getting smaller and smaller, the threat of CG gets bigger and bigger. Okay, Seward and Goldaming doing a trade. Yeah, they're arming up. Looks as if stuff is amping up Seward to be ready for battle. Let's see if he does still have one Night Spy. And here's the thing: although the encounter deck is about to reset, the hunters know that Dracula does not have a fog as of this moment. However, he could draw fog number 3 in the 2 draws that he will have before he lands. It'll be a one. The chance of getting one of them is precisely 10%. All right. But by the way the hunters were behaving earlier with how they orchestrated things in Spain, I think that they do have of the 4 warns. Yeah, this is a very close match. So Dracula knows that the hunters know that this is not a fog, so he can't risk them excellent weathering onto him. I. Now, if I were Drac, I would consider going to the Ionian Sea so that you can get a head start on all three of these hunters. But it is risky. Mia's in the area. There's a possibility of CG. So, then I would move Van Helsing to Milan, continue to box on his options of wolf forming ashore. Okay. That's also fine. What did Mia discard? Blood transfusion? Okay, no real surprise there. Yeah, this is quite a game. Okay. Discard the other blood transfusion. Huh, so he actually could have used that earlier if he'd wanted to. Unless he just drew that. And Helsing is continually trading with Mina. Oh, so they have a good luck. Although that won't mean anything because Dracula has already used his event card. Okay. So what does Dracula do? Does he wolf form ashore now? Or does he... Or does he instead... just... Or does he go onto the Ionian? Yeah, Gio's thinking long and hard about this one. Because, yeah, this is going to be a very close game. Because, yeah, Dracula's in a tight spot. Yeah, Snuff is summarizing it quite well. Oh, there. This is a very critical moment as to what Dracula does here. And it could go either way, based on what he does. Yeah. uh, are are you on the edge of your seats, chat? it, Okay, chose to go to the Ionian Sea. Alright, here we go. Renewed vigor, and then walk to Venice, excellent weather to Valona, perhaps? I think Stuff's definitely thinking about doing something here. Okay, here we go. So, Logolaming, what are you going to do? Munich is still there. I wonder how closely Stuff is paying attention to that. Supply? Okay. Okay, will he be stepping on the lair? Yes, he is. Okay. Get to pick off a little bit. Okay, Ladon revealing that he has a pistol so as to remove that lair so that the rest can pass through. Yep, horse. Presumably to Munich, and then he's gonna go to Zagreb. Julia's figuring that he can't win from here or something. Yeah, I think Gio, that you, if you watch this back, that your mistake was landing at CAG. I think that you should have done 3 Cs and then wolf formed. Either that or just wolf formed it to the mainland from the Mediterranean. As the hunters were still very battered. The fact that you landed at CAG, since the hunters know that will require more what's it called? The fact that more sea movement from you means that they probably won't be like as desperate perhaps to catch up with you, because that you by landing at CAG you gave Snuff additional time to power up his hunters. Yeah, I think he needed to either go 3 Cs and then threaten being up in England, or Britannica as the game calls it, or Wolfhorn from Ned. I think that the correct move would have been either moving 3 and having it be one of these 3 Cs. Obviously, with Loving Money Trail, that you don't have that full obscurity, but you at least get more pressure going a bit faster. Okay, yeah, and Snuff still has a full. Even if Snuff doesn't find him today, that's fine. He can still afford one more batch. Okay. Yeah, makes sense. So what do you do with Sewer? Do you challenge him at Sophia? Because one would assume that he will form to Sophia. Do you challenge? Oh, well, little bits and pieces like that would make you have this at least a small smidge of hope. Hired scouts, okay. Now he won't be able to hide and lay down an extra encounter. Okay. That is bad, because I would say that Gio's best chance was to hide, lay down another encounter. And however, now he can go into several different places. Up, CG. I was pretty sure that was going to happen, but okay, he had a reckless vampire. Oh, in that case, lay down the hide card, because if you ambush and get a point, you win. Lay down the hide card, claim 3 more points. It's still not settled yet. Oh, except that you can't. Silly me. If only. That would have been quite a good way. Yeah, Mina is the obvious pick, as now in the event with slow horse, Van Helsing can't get there, and Mina also, well, just has the least. You know exactly what she has. So, as from Snuff's perspective, I would say just do not play the Heavenly Host. That is like, mind you, with no Aggie, he can heal up from fangs. So, I would just do whatever you can to prevent him from doing fangs. Okay. Now he has a little bit more HP to work with, but Considering that it's likely that all three of Goldaming, Seward, and Mina... I mean, we know that Mina has a knife, and we know that Goldaming has a knife. So... that's just not enough. It's GG. So long as they just don't let him bite a Heavenly Host, then... basically, so long as they just don't allow fangs, they've got him. Oh, and apparently he has sense of emergency. So it's a full 4-on-1. Hey. Lucy's Revenge, perhaps? Yep. Garlic Wreath on Seward, lol. Planned ambush on Seward as well. Planned ambush on Mina. Okay. Yeah. This is GG. Looks as if Snuffaluffagus has successfully taken this match, which puts a lot of pressure on Scott Sword to win his match and successfully hunt down Snuffaluffagus' partner Anuzat, which will be happening in actually only an hour 10 minutes from now. Sadly, I will not be able to stream that one. Hopefully someone else will be able to. I think Snuff said he would, if no one else could, but it'd be good to have a more neutral person doing so. Yep, that's GG. Yeah, it's a very close game. Gio will play on all sides. I think that, as I said, I think that Gio's mistake in the end, I think Gio's... Okay. I'll get myself situated. Alright. Let's... both the players agreed to a post-game interview, but any of you who want... yeah, yes, Gio, I know. But any of you who want to stick around, feel free to do so. But if not, thank you all for watching, and see you all next time. Greetings, Snuff.
Hey, Banksy.
Congratulations for your win.
Thank you. That was a... oh, I hear a little bit of an echo, but that's okay. Yeah, it was tight, man. It was very, very close.
Okay, let's make sure that let's make sure my stream is hearing you real quick. Go ahead.
Hi, stream. Thanks for watching.
Right. Okay, yeah. Good.
Yeah. Hard slog. That initial Vantmature was tough. I'm really bad when I have 7-point Vantmatures to start, and I was kicking myself because, like, so close and yet so far. Very good sab play on Gio's part, but I managed to kind of claw my way back in it. Yeah, it was a good game.
Yeah, it was an excellent game. I think that what Gio's fatal mistake is that he should have either Wolfhorn from mid. I think that Cag in the end was the fatal mistake, as that gave you more time to regroup. Hello, Gio.
Hey, Gio.
Good, an excellent effort.
Yeah, thanks for the incredibly tight game. That was definitely a game worthy of the finals.
Indeed, very true. Okay.
Hello?
Yes.
Hey, I can hear you now.
Hey, Gio.
Hey,
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah, I think that you put your finger on it, Gio, when what you said in the chat there, game chat there. That I think that the fatal mistake was going to CAG, uh, as that gave Snuff sufficient time to regroup. Whereas
Yeah,
had you wolf horn from the med, you could have gotten
yeah,
lost in the maze in Central, or
I disagree.
alternatively, uh,
yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
sorry. Yeah, from a med. I'm sorry. I don't disagree. Go ahead. You're good. Keep
uh,
talking. I'm sorry.
it,
yeah. The best,
alternatively,
the best decision was Wolfform from Met to Germany. Or
uh,
I think I mistake not not sure to move to Cagliari. I think
yeah.
I know sure CG and Renove Vigor was sure,
Well,
but I think not I played well in Spain. I there
you
I spent the two fox and more soon, see, soon not this in this part. I think I I think should have to play the other form. I think.
I mean,
Yeah, I think that's
okay,
right. Maybe
yeah.
leave one turn earlier.
I think that the alternative actually I think that he did it quite well in Spain actually because he costed you a lot of items. You had Ainsur was on 3 health with an unlimited horse. Goldaming was down an item. There, he was doing a very good job up until I think the sea voyage. Uh, I think he went to sea at the right time. And I can hardly blame you for laying down the fogs when he did. Uh, but I think that the deadly mistake was, it. I think that you did it brilliantly up until CAG. I think that you should have either won Wolf, as I said, Wolf from Restore or from the Med, or alternatively, go North Atlantic, go to one of the three sea zones. Probably I would
Yeah,
say English Channel, or probably I
yeah,
would say
yeah,
English Channel, and then go to
yeah,
England.
yeah, yeah,
I think that would be the best move there.
yeah, yeah. Very true. Yeah, yeah. Sí.
It would have taken one more. It would have taken one more sea space, but
But bueno, first, congrats Snuff for the victory.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, appreciate it.
Deserved victory, as you played very well, as always. It's a
yeah,
great player. Then
yeah. I.
not is easy, not is easy.
But
Yeah.
by the way, hey Snuff, did you consume an entire cup of tea while wondering what to do about that double vamp?
Um, I'm not a huge tea drinker. Once in a while I'll take it, but I did dwell on it for quite some time, right? Because it was so hard when I'm trying to guess Drax's event, right? I was so worried I would lose right there if it was an Earthly or Darkness Returns, and I was kicking myself because in hindsight I could have played the Vampire Lair earlier. I was thinking, you know what? I could play it, but I might need the stake, and I might be better to surprise Geo with the Vampire Lair if I could hold on to it a little bit. And then I was thinking, oh no, actually, you know, th- that could have made me lose to
It's not.
Unearthly or
the double vamp
darkness,
if there was unearthly swiftness or darkness returns.
unless you got
So
some like god
It's not
tier combat play with from Mina. I
question. If
yes,
in Sarajevo, i- is that
Sarajevo, yeah.
of two vampires? Only one vampire you stay with Mina or not? Or not use the stake with Mina?
It,
if there was only one, I don't know what I would have done. Because initially I was thinking, right, I don't want to use the stake with Mina because you might have seduction. And it was only later I thought, oh no, I might actually not be able to get here in time to protect. Because initially I was worried about seduction. And I realized the possibility of unearthly swiftness and darkness returns a little later. So then I kind of threw my game off a little bit.
yeah,
But
yeah. That was definitely a very hype moment as to like, oh boy, is it game over due to Unholy Darkness Returns? And unfortunately for Geo, no, but it was still bad for you.
Yeah. No, and so but I had been thinking about seduction. I wasn't gonna search with Mina unless, my fear. My thinking was like only if I wanted to protect against the darkness returns and stuff, right? I initially did want to do that exactly what I did, So I'm glad it worked out the way it worked out.
Okay.
Kadamen could take the bite. So
Yeah. It.
um
One thing I'm curious about, a very small detail, but it's what when when you were like all grouped up, the three later in the late game, that Silver discarded a blood transfusion. Uh, after all that time, did he have that? Was that a top deck? The event he drew?
no, he had it the whole time, and blood transfusion is such a forgettable event. I forgot that I had it.
Yeah, I was curious as to why if it wasn't a top deck, why you hadn't used it.
Yeah. So but it ended up not being necessary.
Yeah.
But,
as I said, very minor detail, but I couldn't help but be a bit curious about that one.
yeah. So.
But in any event, thank you for the clarifications on certain things. Because I think possibly one thing that could have been done slightly better than by you stuff is not having Mia just sit back there all that time. At the very least, like get her onto the rail line so that since you're showing charred carriage, so that you're threatening a bit more than when you're sitting at Sarajevo.
I did think about that, and probably that would have been helpful. Especially when I knew he was going to leave Spain, right? It might be good to get her ready in case he did do the move from Med. And I think my thinking at the time was that I really need a renewed vigor. I didn't draw the renewed vigor like right at the end, but I drew it fairly late. So I was like, I think I'd rather she just keep supplying, because getting at least one RV would make a huge difference, more so than being on a rail line. And by the time I got the RV, I was like, well, she's kind of fine where she is because he might go east as he ended up doing, right?
Yeah.
So I think I have to look back on it, but I think it was the right call doing it the way I did it, just because I really did need that RV. So I don't know. You'd have to look back at it real closely. There might have been a time to do it, but you're right. That's a good idea.
The CG, you draw it soon or more later?
I got the CG very early.
Yeah, I had guessed as much, considering how you were just sitting there like forever thinking of what to discard with Glaming. I'm guessing you had 2 Heavenly Hosts at that moment.
No, actually, when I discarded the Heavenly Host in week 1, that was the moment I drew CG. So I was like, damn. I just discarded the Heavenly Host, and then I got CG the same seconds after. So, yeah.
But yeah, that was for me the giveaway that you had it.
Yeah. It's funny how that works out.
Yeah, that is amusing. But in any event, thank you, and well, Gio, you're gonna have to hope that Scott Sword can carry you for a change.
Yeah.
In his battle against Andrzat.
Yeah, Gio's been doing so well this tournament. We'll see. I do think one last thought is that in this particular game, I don't think either of us had too many big mistakes. You can quibble about certain things, but I think this is real high level play from Gio and myself. Not to toot my own horn, but I think we both played pretty well, which makes me really excited. It's always fun to have a game where it's you don't win because you did something dumb, where it's just we both did our best, played a good game, and that's just how the turntables,
Yeah. It's much
great tournament. You play it. You playing. You are playing a fantastic tournament.
Yeah, back when I was Team Wildlife with Randiv, I had much of the same sort of game versus Scott Sword, so I know how it feels to come out on top in that sort of thing. It wasn't until, because you're right, neither of you did anything. Perhaps there are some little this and that could be debated, but but there wasn't anything that just stood out as you shouldn't have done that. That's just silly. Until CAG, that is what tipped the scales in the end. Ultimately, I think.
And one last final thought. Because I only won with one IDS, if Andrazad doesn't win, knock on wood, I hope he does. But if he doesn't, there's no way we will get to choose our side. So it'll be interesting to see.
Unless it's a tie in IDS.
If it's tie in IDS, they have a higher seed, so they
True.
would break the tiebreaker, go to them.
Very true.
So if it goes to a tiebreaker, they're going to get to pick what their roles are. So that'll be interesting to see if we need that, what that would be.
Which presumably that would be. I think it would be Scotsword being hunters, given that would mean that so far only the hunters won.
We'll see.
But regardless, thank you everyone for watching.